Hello, everybody. Hope you're having a great Friday. Yes, it's finally Friday. Oof, it's been a up and down kind of a week. Got a lot of things done. Have a lot of things that I would have liked to do and didn't get around to do them. But yeah, I'm just gonna be a good host today and just I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do, but I figured, you know what, Friday, and I kind of glimpsed on the subject this week. So if nobody has any objections, I'm just going to talk about the biker life. And it might not seem like the biker you think it is, but yeah, this is me like 10, 15 years ago with my two favorite motorcycles. This is about the period in my life I think I was the happiest. Yeah, two bikes, not one, two. Whoop-de-doo. Holy Lord. Yeah, I have more pictures of my other bike because the Repsol did not stay. I sold the Katana and then painted the Repsol similar to the Katana because everybody was used to me having that kind of paint job on my motorcycle. And then people gave me a lot of flack for painting the Repsol into those colors because a Repsol is a sacred bike. It's a sacred paint job. But from my point of view, so is my bike. So yeah, I kind of miss those days. Unfortunately, I can't ride anymore. For those who don't know me and are first tuning into this channel, uh, with age, I am getting myself into a situation where half of my body does not respond all of the time the way that I would like to. I am paralyzing slowly from the right side. There's nothing really we can do. I've had friends that have gone through operations, and fortunately for me, I'm not feeling any pain, except that when you fall and that kind of thing. But if I don't fall, I am not in pain currently. But some people have had to deal with pain and went through operations. It helps for a little while, then it gets actually worse. So I have decided not to be operated on because spinal injuries, and no, my injuries are not from a motorcycle. They are from a hiking accident I had in my youth. And 15 years ago, when the symptoms started to arise, I decided to get back on the bike because it was a pastime that I had given up on to be the responsible adult, and kind of found a new vision, a new passion, a new focus, a new perspective on the sports of motorcycles, and really, really got to get out into the real world and meet some people and had a lot of fun. And 2 years ago, I had to give it up because I was falling too much. And by too much, I mean you drop your bike one weekend at one stop sign. Okay, not the end of the world. everybody drops their bike at one point or another. But then the next weekend it happens again, and I'm like, okay, this is becoming a regular thing, not a once in a blue moon thing. So before I get myself into a situation that might take my life or injure me to the point where my quality of life would suffer greatly, uh, yeah, time to, take the helmet off and put it in storage and to call it retirement from the sport. But I really love the sport. I like watching YouTube videos on the sport, so that's what I'm going to do basically, is just watch a couple of YouTube videos and comment on the writing. And if anybody has, in the chat, if you folks want to comment about this, that, and the other, uh, you know me, for those returning viewers, know that I will talk about just about anything. For the new viewers here, feel free to talk about any subject, even if it's not related to motorcycles, and we can get into something else. So, let's see here what we can do. There we go. Let's transition once more. So this is a video from Superbike Racer. Full power mode on Yamaha R6 Street Ride. So, as you can see, there's a lot of people in this group. I used to run very smaller groups, 5 to 10 people at the most. And even with 10 people, we'd be splitting up into 2 groups of 5 just to make things safer. Not only that, but here in my province of Quebec, Canada, when you come to pass a car, it's easier to be like a smaller group, like 5 people, passing a car rather than having 10 bikes or 12 bikes or whatever amount of bikes pass a car. Because there's always that last guy that might want to rush things because he's the last guy and he wants to get through. And then the curve comes, the twisties come, and the last person might get themselves into a situation that you don't want them in, and try to avoid accidents. So to keep it as safe as possible, we keep it to groups of 5. And, even if we're 10 and we're riding the same routes, because I've had this discussion lately as well. Some people call them routes, some people call them routes. And, they just take off like 5-10 minutes later, and we're going to the same destination, taking the same routes. So it's all good, because even if you stop at a restaurant, then you have like 10 people waiting. Whereas, 10 minutes, usually 5 people get their orders in. Then the other 5 arrive, they get to put their orders in. It just works out better that way for a multitude of reasons. And even sometimes, people will mix and match and switch groups and have different ride leaders. So it's good to have different perspectives on things. So without further ado, let's start watching this video here. So these people are obviously getting ready for a ride. You see everybody in these suits. And from a bystander, you think, oh, these guys, they want to be the racer. But no, it's the best protection you can have. You're on a bike. So I rather see people in these racer suits than some people in a t-shirt, no gloves, wearing flip-flops. Not the ideal situation in case you do fall off the bike and scrape yourself, because like they say, 10 out of 10 dentists do not recommend asphalt. So no, I have not seen this video. Okay, not good. Now the first thing I realize here is that this person that we have the camera with has no mirrors on his bike that I can see. Some people have mirrors on the end of the handlebars. Obviously, I am not seeing any here. So, yeah, knowing what is happening behind you is just as important as knowing what is in front of you. So, yeah, he's losing points for not having a camera. Even if you've been riding 15 years with these individuals, there's always that one time that guy behind you will pass you and you have no idea what's going on. So nope, now we can see clearly this individual has no mirrors, and the time he takes to look behind him is time that he is not looking in front of him. So even though the motorcycle looks cooler without the mirrors, it looks more aerodynamic, I definitely do not recommend taking off mirrors off of your motorcycle unless you are on a racetrack. Whereas if you get into an accident, glass from the broken mirrors can puncture other people's tires on the track. So yeah, that's a very specific reason not to have any mirrors. But obviously here they are not on a track, they are out in the real world. Put your mirrors on. That's my input here. Okay. So unfortunately I cannot see the rider's position other than the shadow, so that doesn't tell me much. So we can look at the technique from the guy in front. I really like these roads. Now, I don't know if these are in miles or kilometers. My vision is going. But anywhere between, around the 110, 120 kilometers an hour from what I'm gathering here, just on the type of road, would be a good thing. See, now yeah, I'm not a fan of passing within the same. Okay. Well, that guy is on a scooter. Okay. I have nothing against scooters, but. And someone can be really fast. It's just not the same kind. There's a reason why a bike is built the way the bike is built. For the same reason that you will not see a Harley Davidson ride like this 99% of the time. Yes, there's some great riders. But these bikes are made to run a certain way. Every bike, having said that, every bike needs to lean into a curve. People think that, oh, they like going fast. No, you do have to tilt the bike into a curve in order to have the bike turn, whether it be a Harley Davidson or a racer bike or even a scooter. You do need to lean. Now, I don't know where they are because, yeah, see what I mean? If you don't have your mirrors, how do you know that people want to pass you in the same line, in the same lane as you are? He has no mirrors, so how does he know if somebody wants to pass him? Okay, usually that is to identify a pothole or debris on the road. That's why we usually put the foot out. But it could just be somebody who has a cramp in his foot, so it's kind of hard to know. Yes, you do have Bluetooth systems that everybody can communicate, but sometimes, see, I am not a fan of people passing other people like that. It makes it for a very dangerous circumstances. See, there was a Harley Davidson, and he was also tilting in the curve. So from what I gathered here, every motorcyclist likes to run down this stretch of road because it's nice scenery, nice curves, nice twisties, and I guess maybe they are used to it. That's why the slow traffic is holding to the left side of the lane. Okay, well, that guy kinda, yeah. So the one in front, you kind of saw the rear shear a little bit. He was a little bit too aggressive on the throttle. And yeah, if you can't stay in your lane, dude, relax, chill. I don't know what they're exactly trying to accomplish here. Either you're trying to keep up with the person in front, keep your distances. I have no idea where they are. I'm not sure. It might be someplace like Austria, or I don't think this is in the States. As you can see, the guy in front does not have a license plate, so yeah. I don't know where they are. But wherever they are, this seems to be like normal behavior that the slow traffic, but everybody passing everybody, however see, they're almost going three wide. I am not a fan of that kind of. I like the twisties. I mean, sometimes you will get an open stretch of road, and then people, whoever wants to go in front when there's, like here, a stretch of road that is straight. Go in front, okay. But once you hit the twisties like they are here, keep your position. Oh man, cyclists, motorcyclists, cars. That's a lot of information to deal with. I mean, just one bad incident can complicate things for a lot of people. So this is what I'm talking about. If you have a nice long stretch of road, this is where, if you're faster than whoever, go out in front, go and have fun. Rejoin the group at your leisure. Otherwise, just stay in position. Instead of just everybody just anywhere. Just to keep things orderly and to put chances on your side. You always want to put as many chances of coming back alive. Okay, well, see, that person in front was not as smooth getting from one side to the bike to the next. See, yes, you do want to be smooth when you go from one side to the next. Secret to any bike riding is to be as smooth as you can. With the throttle, with the dynamic of weight transfer on the bike. I do miss it a lot. Yeah, going on the outside passing, not the ideal situation. I'm glad he waited a little bit. Now he's having to play catch up, which is okay, but there are speed limits. You do have to do it reasonably. Wow, okay, well, that guy in front put his foot on the ground. You never really want to do that. You can do it on motorbikes, I mean on dirt bikes, because you can kind of drag your foot on the ground to give yourself a chance to turn tighter. But on a street bike, you kind of don't want to put your foot off and sideways like that or on the ground. That's a lack of confidence in the bike or confidence of the rider. Okay, so once more, we will transition while I try to find. Ooh, starting to rain, so I might have cats that want to come in. I might have to get up for that. And I will try to motorcycle twisties. Okay, here, so let's transfer once more. There we go. This is another video from MotoMac TV. This video is entitled Carving Up Bear Mountain. So, okay, obviously it is fall or spring, early spring, I don't know. So the asphalt might not be as warm, so the rubber does not stick as well. Always things to consider when you're going out. Yes, after a while, your tires do warm up, but the asphalt is still cold and the grip does vary a lot. Like, I can't really tell here if it's sub-freezing. Oh, okay, well, that kind of looked like Quebec. This road is really not nice. Okay. Grouping up with friends here. Yeah. Nice, 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 nice. Okay. Enough of the chit chat. Let's get up and running. Yeah. Everybody likes to show off their motorcycles and whatnot. Okay, let's get back to writing. See, this individual has his mirrors. So obviously from the camera angle, we can't see as well as from his eyes, but you can see, yeah, we can still see the traffic. That's a good thing. Yeah, he has a smaller windscreen. or a bigger one, perhaps. I'm kind of not a fan of that curve in the windscreen, but okay, let's look at driver's positions. So yeah, you pass, you get back into your lane. Strangely enough, the left lane is the slower lane usually. So that car should have been hanging to the right. As everybody here is passing on the right side. Ooh, right in between cars, yeah. And when you're slower, you move to the right, let the faster traffic pass on the left. That's how it is here in North America. I don't know where they are, but I'm guessing with a name like Bear Mountain, and he has a state's flag on his shoulder, that is somewhere in the States. So, slower traffic on the right, faster traffic on the left. And why are they stopping? Well, for two reasons, maybe. They are around a underpass, in case it might have been raining, but they're not really underneath. They're just taking a break because it is very important. Yes, we're always looking at people's tires to see how low they go. Some people are actually afraid of leaning their bikes because they think that they will fall down. You don't need to go down too much, but you kind of do, the sharper the turn, the more that you lean into a curve. And some people are just new people to bikes are afraid to lean their bikes. It's normal. You get into it. You just go slower and you don't go down as much. Okay, well see, I get mad when cars that are slower, you see the bikes. You should be looking in your mirrors. I mean, I'm an ass, complaining about that guys not having mirrors, but cars have mirrors. To my knowledge, they don't remove them. They should be noticing that there are bikes coming up behind them, and yet they decide to stay in their lane. Okay. Another thing that is possibly happening here is that they are way faster than the speed limit, in which case the automobile drivers might not notice them. And instead of quickly moving out of the lane, it's just easier for the bikes to actually go around them. That's another thing. Not the ideal situation, but sometimes I wish that cars would just, it's always about being smooth, whether you're a car driver or a motorcycle driver. No sudden moves. Okay, well, you went way too much on the brakes there, the guy that's following. You can really see the bike dive. So again, you're catching up, getting too close, putting on the brakes. Just drive smoother. Yep, there's room for the bike to pass in between. Not necessarily the ideal situation either. You just have to know that a bike is a bike and a car is a car, and they do not behave the same. Like the law says, you have to consider the bike as big as a car. That's kind of like saying, well, the car needs to drive like if it's a tractor trailer. It's just, a car is smaller. 10-wheelers do require a lot more distance to brake. Ah, man. Do not put your foot on the ground. There is no reason to do that. As you can see, there are potholes on and even drains and whatnot. If your foot gets caught in that for whatever reason, you might not enjoy the rest of the day at the hospital. It is that crazy. Okay, so I'm going to think here that he is in kilometers and not in miles, but it's in the States. So this is 160. So they're going like 200 kilometers an hour here. And look at the potholes at the center of the road there, switching from one side to the next. I mean, it's one thing to ride aggressively. It's another thing to just acknowledge that the road conditions are less than ideal. It's not a racetrack. Keep that in mind. You know, if it's a road that these guys have gone, 1,000 times, even then, it is that 1 percentile or 1% of a percentage that might, make it that, oh, this is a nice angle though. Already over. Okay. Not ideal street situations. Okay. Okay, let's go and watch this video here. Let's transition again. This is from Superbike Racer. I may or may not, my memory, is going, but wasn't another video earlier similar to this, except this guy has his mirrors on, so it is not the same video. So I like to give, it's okay to run with your buddies, but you're not on a racetrack. You really do not need to be this close. Given the fact that there are, you never want to be on the line, the white line, in any circumstances. They put broken glass dust into the paint. That's what gives it its reflective attributes at night. But it also makes it for a very slippery surface. So you never really want to be on that white line unless you're switching lanes. Oh, man, everybody's driving like I that's how I do things a lot differently. If you're in a certain position, remain in your position. Don't be too close because this is not a racetrack. This, even though the asphalt is really nice here, you might come across cyclists or scooters or other cars. Just give everybody some breathing room just in case things go sour. Because if that front guy falls for whatever reason, you're gonna nick him. And I don't want to be the guy that runs over my friend when he's on the ground. It's possible these guys have been, riding together for 10, 15 years and they know how they ride and, 100% of the time so far they've made it back home. I just like to think about that 1 percentile, and maybe someday I will watch the videos that do include motorcycle accidents just to show how, I mean, you can be all geared up, super safe and whatnot. You come across this one situation that does not turn out good for nobody. "99% of the time, when an automobile hits a motorcycle, it's always, I did not see him." And especially with people texting, oh, see, we came across a couple of cyclists there. As I was saying, now that car drivers are always on their phones, it becomes exponentially high risk that the car driver does not see the motorcyclist. So far, I like the writing of these people. They are pretty smooth. A lot of people, usually when you start riding bikes, people will say start small and work yourself to a bigger bike. Uh, I understand the reasoning behind that. Just get used to riding and whatnot. The only thing that you have to be mindful of is that a small bike does not have the power of a big bike. Therefore, when you're on a smaller bike, you can jerk on the throttle a lot more because you will not have that instant burst of power. And it kind of creates a bad habit. And when you do get to a bigger bike and then twist the wrist, and you're not used to going gently, you might, spin that back tire and jerk it and get yourself into a situation that you do not want. So sometimes you will see people over accelerating and jerking the bike because of that, just because they slowly graduated from a smaller bike to a bigger bike and just got into the bad habit of not pouring on the power smoothly. So even if you're on a small bike and you think, okay, I don't have the power, I can gut it, it's a bad habit. If you have a smaller engine, that jerking of the throttle will not give you extra horsepower, so don't do it unnecessarily. So drive the bike that you kind of want to drive. So the sooner you get used to the kind of bike that you do want to drive, the better. But yes, obviously, smaller bikes will be more forgiving on a throttle twist than a bigger bike. But so far, I am enjoying these individuals' ride. So once again, I don't know where they are. The speed may or may not be legal. The road is in fair good condition. Traffic is more than beautiful because there is no traffic, really. They may or may not have done this circuit 100 times in this day. We do not know. I mean, I've myself, riding somewhere where I don't know, come across a really nice spot where there's a lot of twisties and stuff, and then stop, pull over to the side of the road, ask the people what they think of it, and do you feel like doing that the rest of the day? Yes, you go out with a plan of getting yourself to a destination, but on a motorcycle, the destination is not important, it's the journey. Therefore, you can improvise, and if people like a certain section of a road, well, we can do it over again. That's up to you folks. Some people will be like, no, I really wanted to go and eat at that restaurant today. I've been looking forward to it all week. Okay, we'll continue with the trip because that's what the plan was. And then you have some other people saying, oh man, that was so much fun just going down these twisties. The scenery, everything was just perfect. Like here we have a little bit of sun glare. Not an ideal time of the day to be there. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe this is late in the day and they've already gone down this stretch of road a couple of times today. But some people are like, yeah, okay, let's do it again. We'll get to the restaurant an hour later. Still good. We're still going to eat where we planned on eating. So, okay, time to find another video. Okay, so this video is entitled Smooth and Fast. So we'll see how smooth it will be. This is from the Caliboy. If you want to hear the sound of their videos and whatnot, I'm just hoping that you can actually hear my voice. Okay, little wheelie. People are like, yeah, but it's part of knowing your bike. The balance. And people may not know this is like, how can you steer if the front is not on the ground? Well, you can also steer just by leaning the bike on the rear wheel. A motorcycle tire is round, and if you lean inwards one side or the other, the diameter of the wheel shortens up, so you turn tighter. That's why the tires are not flat like on a car. Leaning is what makes the bike turn. Some people think that no, you got to turn the steering wheel, or the handlebars, I should say, because it's not a steering wheel, it's a handlebar. It's not, you don't turn. And actually, if you really want to get into details, you actually turn outwards to turn inwards. I know it doesn't make much sense. It's a fraction of a degree that you turn the handlebars outwards. And the reason why you do that is to, then again, like I said, to shorten the diameter of the surface that contacts the asphalt. I know it doesn't make much sense. It's all physics. And 100% of the time, it is done by instinct. You do not have to think how much of a degree you want to turn outwards to turn inwards. It's all done by instinct. Your body, trust your body. And that's the reason why I stopped riding, is because my body, I can't trust my body anymore. But so, yeah, don't want to get into too many details about that there, but so as you can see here, you go through periods of shade, which makes looking at the road conditions a little bit tricky at times. It is fairly good, but you can see some areas are not so good. But yeah, they're not going too fast. They're keeping their positions. They're not passing one another randomly. They are pretty smooth on their bikes, transferring from one side of the bike to the next very smoothly. And again, I'm not seeing any mirrors, but they could be at the end of the handlebar. I may not have noticed it. I like to have my mirrors in my field of view, not having to look at the extremities, because anything that takes my eye off the road in front is a fraction of a second that a rabbit, a raccoon, a skunk could be crossing the road. See, the guy in front is keeping his distance from the leader, whereas the guy filming is a bit close. Yes, I've done it myself with certain people I ride with. Because, not to say, yeah, well, I know better or whatnot, but I've actually ridden with some professional racetrack motorcyclists, racers. So they do it to me, I do it to them. Kind of a thing. So thank you for pulling to the side of the road. Much appreciated. You'll never see anybody in Quebec do that, unfortunately. Except when you come across people from Ontario that drive in Quebec, or some people from other provinces, yet they will pull to the side, wave the hand for you to go forward to pass them. But Quebec drivers are really, really bad in the sense that there is no courtesy here whatsoever. Sad to say. Yeah, so we are approaching the end of the ride here, and it will also be the end of today's show. So hopefully, so I hope you enjoyed this show. I know it's a Friday and a lot of people have other things to do. I myself am in that situation. There's a few phone calls I need to do. So I am ending the show here. Hope you enjoyed the show and feel free to tune in to the next one where we can talk about anything you feel like. Until then, I will say be safe out there, and if you want to, suggest a title or a subject for a show, feel free to comment down below. And if you did not like this video, well, thank you for watching this long. But I still hope I'll see you in the next one. So, bye-bye for now.